do that because
Okay.
I forgot to give it to you last week.
Okay, sorry about that.
Do I need to go ahead and start over, or Jim?
It's whatever. Jim might start over.
Well, as you know, the judge and then the mayor of Plainview issued orders, basically what we call stay-at-home orders last Tuesday, I think, on the 31st. And I think that under y'all's prior resolution, the judge had authority just to enter that and it would go forward and not be like the first thing y'all did was, the judge declares disaster and then y'all have to approve it. Or it expires after 7 days. But the judge wanted to have y'all look at this and get y'all to weigh in, and there's certainly no harm in that. So, basically, I hope y'all are familiar with everything that was put in place and ordered. The one thing I did want to visit with you about real quickly this morning was, I think it was probably later that afternoon, the governor entered another order, and there's been a little bit of confusion. Previously we had exempted churches and religious services from the initial restrictions under the declaration of disaster. In the orders of the judge's order on the 31st, we didn't have that exemption. It provided that churches could be open to the extent they need to be able to conduct their business and also prepare to deliver, I think it says something like remote services or, basically put it out on YouTube or Facebook Live or whatever they're using, or I guess, I don't know if Sacred Heart's still doing their drive-up service or not, but get ready for stuff like that. The governor's order, the governor's order is unfortunately a little more vague and nebulous, and it's frankly going to be hard to enforce a whole lot. It says basically that if the churches don't have the capability of being able to stream their services or put it on the internet or whatever, then they can be open as long as they observe social distancing requirements while they're there. So, and what I want to talk to you about this morning is, frankly, I think if you want to leave the judge's order as is, so be it. Now, I will say that the governor's order obviously controls over the judge's order as far as that part goes. The city, I think late Friday or maybe Saturday, the mayor entered another order that basically incorporated the language from the governor's order in it, and then also had our little bit about basically what we had there to begin with. So if y'all want to recognize the governor's order and incorporate that, it might eliminate a little bit of confusion as we started to try to enforce some of these things or need to, and also clarify for people in Hill County. Obviously, I guess y'all could vote to not to ratify the judge's order or to rescind it. That's y'all's call, I guess. I think the medical science right now is saying that it needs to continue in effect, so hopefully we can keep this contained as much as possible. So, also in the resolution that I handed y'all this morning, there is, a more specific express provision that would allow the judge to make orders, future orders without consulting or without the necessity of bringing it back to court. And I just did that in case we did end up in a really bad situation where the actions needed and maybe y'all could meet for some reason. Hopefully we can never get to that point. And of course, this also provides that it'll stay in effect until either the judge rescinds it or y'all vote to rescind it, and that y'all will revisit this at your meeting on May 11th. So we'd originally had that first one to look at April 11th, which is this coming meeting, but I would think if you're going to continue this thing, you're probably not going to be able to watch it. look at it again a week later, so that's why I did that. If you got any questions, I'll be glad to answer that. That's just some things to think about, how you want to proceed. And I didn't, as far as the incorporating the governor's language in there, if y'all vote to do that, that's great. I'll just have to have some time to prepare a resolution and decide.
Okay. Thank you, Jim.
So basically what you told us, Jim, is there's two orders out there. One that they're signing, a new one that Abbott's put out that's not as restrictive as the one that we put out. So there's,
It may ultimately be restricting, it does leave some room to say you could have church service if you know, if you're the, I don't know, very small town Baptist church out in the middle of Hill County that has 5 members, you know, you can still, I guess, have in-person church and say, you know, none of us know how to operate a computer and get on Facebook and stream it or whatever. And that's where I think it gets hard to enforce because you'd have to prove, well, A, you didn't have the capability to do that, and then B, you know, did you not practice social distancing, of course. In that situation, there's probably not going to be a lot of cell phone videos that are floating around Facebook or YouTube where you can say, oh, there's, you know, there they are within 6 feet.
in my opinion, we need to stay with what we passed. The one that the judge passed the other day, it's gonna be hard to enforce one or the other. Because that's what we do.
The only thing I was thinking is we might go ahead and enforce this one, that we did last Tuesday, with the exception that Jim may include the language that the governor gave as far as the church services. We don't want to do something that in our declaration that we're not able to enforce. Okay, everyone had a chance to see the declaration. You go on and read it again. There was some additions and changes in it, so.
Yeah, would you read it again?
Okay. This is Hill County, Texas Declaration of Local Disaster, County Judge's Order #1. Whereas the coronavirus, COVID-19, has been recognized as a pandemic by the World Health Organization and is a contagious respiratory virus. And whereas the governor of the state of Texas, Greg Abbott, issued a statewide disaster proclamation on March 13, 2020, certifying that COVID-19 poses an imminent threat of disaster to all counties in the state of Texas. And whereas COVID-19 continues to spread and pose an imminent threat of widespread or severe illness, injury, and loss of life, requiring emergency attention and represents a public health disaster according to the Texas Department of Health Sciences. And whereas Hill County, Texas has already taken numerous steps to prepare for COVID-19, such as coordinating preparedness efforts with local municipal officials and local health authority to promote appropriate prevention and mitigation efforts. And whereas the governor of the state of Texas on March 19, 2020 issued an executive order GA-08 placing restrictions on social gatherings, visitations for local food and retail establishments where individuals in large numbers gather. And whereas Executive Order GA-08 also places additional restrictions on visitations in nursing homes, retirement centers, and long-term facilities, as well as temporary closing school. And whereas on March 19, 2020, pursuant to the authority provided him by the Texas Government Code, Section 418-108, the County Judge of Hill County issued a declaration of disaster, placing certain restrictions and procedures in place in order to protect and preserve the public health, safety, and welfare, and consistent with national and state declarations of emergency. And whereas on March 23, 2020, the Hill County Commissioners Court Resolution number R20-0323, extending the county judge declaration of disaster and further authorizing the county judge to use all available resources to enforce the declaration. And whereas it is critical for the, for Hill County to take additional steps to prepare for, respond to, and mitigate the spread of COVID-19 to protect the health and welfare of the citizens of Hill County and the surrounding area. And whereas the President of the United States and the United States Center of the Disease Control and Prevention on March 16, 2020 issued COVID-19 guidelines for America, calling upon Americans to slow the spread of COVID-19 by avoiding social gatherings in groups of more than 10 people, using drive-through, pickup, or delivery options at restaurants and bars, and avoiding visitation in nursing homes, among other steps. Whereas pursuant to the Texas Government Code 418.108, in accordance with the authority granted by the county judge by the Commissioners Court in Resolution R20-0323, the county judge hereby orders the following consistent with the declaration and in order to protect and preserve the public health, safety, and welfare. Now therefore be it ordered by the county judge of Hill County, Texas, 1, that the outlined above are found to be true and correct and are incorporated as if fully set forth herein. 2, that all terms of the conditions of the county judge's declaration of disaster, which was signed and executed by the county judge on March 19, 2020, renewed and extended by Commissioners Court Resolution R20-0323, and the additional terms and conditions found in Resolution R20-0323 remain in full force and effect and are continued to the extent that they do not directly conflict with this order. For purposes of clarification, unless otherwise specifically noted, the provisions in the county judge declaration regarding social gatherings is hereby rescinded in place with this order, including its application to religious institutions. 3, that by the authority granted to the county judge under the Texas Government Code, Chapter 418, the following is hereby ordered. A, stay at home. Section 1, all persons residing in Hill County, Texas are to stay at home or at their current place of residence. For purposes of this order, residence includes hotel, motel, shared rentals, and similar facilities. To the extent individuals are using shared or outdoor spaces, they must at all times and reasonably as possible maintain social distancing, have at least 6 feet from any other person when they are outside the residence. Number 2, all public and private gatherings of any number of people occurring outside of a single household are hereby prohibited except as otherwise provided in the order. Nothing in this order prohibits gatherings of members of a single household or living unit. And in parentheses, an apartment for the use by one family. 3, travel away from the person's regular place of residence should be only for the purpose of obtaining essential goods and services or to the person's place of employment, which furnishes essential goods or services unless otherwise provided for in this order. And any person who is sick or currently experiencing common COVID-19 symptoms, including fever, cough, or shortness of breath, is hereby ordered to stay at home until such time that A, he or she has no fever for at least 72 hours without the use of fever-reducing medicine such as Tylenol, and B, his or her symptoms have improved, and C, at least 14 days have passed since the symptoms first appeared. If any person in the household has tested positive for COVID-19, all persons in that household are hereby ordered to stay at home and self-quarantine for a period of at least 14 days. Members of that household may not travel to work, school, or anywhere else until cleared by a medical professional. This order does not prohibit any person from leaving his or her residence to seek necessary medical or emergency care. B, permitted individual activities. As guidance in a non-exclusive list, below are listed some activities that are permitted under the order. Getting groceries, household supplies, medicine, gas, work from home supplies, pet or livestock supplies. However, people are highly encouraged to bring those individuals necessary to conduct that activity. Please keep all non-essential additional family members, especially children, and elderly individuals at home. Going to a doctor's or health provider's office, participating in individual outdoor activities, hiking, biking, running, fishing, etc., while maintaining social distance requirements, acting as a caretaker for a family member, traveling to and from an essential business or service, or a low-risk business, either as a patron or an employee. And then it says non-essential business closures and meeting space closures. In accordance with the guidelines from the governor, the president, and the CDC, the following commercial business for which social distancing guidelines are impractical or impossible are hereby prohibited and are ordered to cease operation and close. Non-essential personal service businesses, businesses which engage in direct person-to-person services to the public, which are not time-sensitive and which are not required for the immediate health or safety of the recipient, including without limitation hair salons, barbershops, hairstylists, nail salons, tattoo parlors, piercing businesses, tanning salons, and hair removal, waxing businesses. Non-essential retail establishments, retail businesses which do not primarily sell or provide the products or services described in below and considered an essential business or service unless the retail business meets the definition of a low-risk business described in this order. Commercial amusement or entertainment values, enclosed shopping malls, any premises which include multiple adjacent retail establishments connected by an enclosed common area, group meeting spaces, meeting rooms, ballrooms, and event spaces operated by multi-family apartment complexes or hotels. D, essential businesses and services. The following businesses and services are hereby deemed essential and may continue to operate, provided federal and CDC guidelines are followed, including affirmative steps to ensure social distancing of 6 feet is maintained. Grocery stores, convenience stores, drug stores, pharmacies, and package stores. Pet supply stores, veterinary clinics, and boarding kennels, but not groomers. Healthcare providers and healthcare facilities, including doctor and dental offices, physical therapists, hospitals and clinics, excluding services for elective medical, surgical, or dental procedures. Vehicle fueling, maintenance, and repair facilities, banks and financial institutions, agriculture services, including plant and food cultivation, farming, and raising livestock, professional services, including attorneys, accountants, engineers, title companies, insurance agents, and other licensed professionals, office buildings where people in individual enclosed spaces in groups of 10 or less, news media, newspaper, television, radio, and other media services, daycare facilities, homeless shelters providing services for people experiencing homelessness, nonprofit providers of essential services, essential government services and facilities, residential buildings, including hotels and motels, exempt group meeting and event spaces, transit facilities where people may be in transit or waiting for transit, such as airports, bus stops, or bus stations, manufacturing, distributing and logistic facilities, laundromats and dry cleaners, call centers, funeral homes, crematories and cemeteries, and funeral services providing social distance of 6 feet is maintained, and critical infrastructure businesses which support critical infrastructure or supply chains as prescribed by the Cyber Infrastructure Security Agency. Religious institutions, churches, and places of worship. Religious institutions, churches, and places of worship are open for the purpose of allowing staff and employees to perform functions necessary for the production and remote delivery of religious services or necessary to support online, telephone, email, and other services. But or otherwise closed to the public. All staff and employees are required to adhere to the federal and CDC guidelines, including affirmative steps to ensure that social distancing of 6 foot is maintained. Construction, building, and supply businesses. Residential, commercial, and industrial construction sites and building supply and home improvement retailers remain open, provided federal and CDC guidelines are followed, including affirmative steps to ensure the social distancing 6 feet is maintained, including for customers waiting to enter the premises of a retail store, and only if the occupancy inside the retail premises is limited to no more than 100 persons or 1/2 of the posted occupancy limits, inclusive of employees, whichever is less. Low-risk businesses. Where the following establishment is not listed above in the essential business or service and not listed specifically for closure in subsection B above may remain open provided the following conditions are followed and adhered to. Federal and CDC guidelines are followed, including affirmative steps taken to ensure social distancing of 6 feet is maintained between all customers and employees, including for customers waiting to enter the premises of the retail store. 2, that there is never more than 10 people, inclusive of employees, in the place of business. The retail establishment takes extra verifiable measures to sanitize and disinfect common surfaces such as countertops, carts, faucets, doorknobs, etc. Employees and customers maintain enhanced hygiene practices and complete and submit to the Plainview Health County Health Department a low-risk business form requesting to be classified as a low-risk business that provides the following: A, confirmation that they meet the criteria listed above. B, detailing how the business will sanitize and disinfect common areas. C, detailing how the business will enforce the federal and CDC guidelines, ensuring that social distancing of 6 feet is maintained between all customers and employees. Retail establishment and other businesses. Retail establishment and other businesses is not specifically described above as essential and if failed to qualify as low risk or closed to the public. However, all businesses may continue operations consisting exclusively of following activities which are encouraged to do so, provided federal and CDC guidelines are followed, including affirmative steps to ensure the social distancing of 6 foot is maintained between all employees and members of the public. 1, the use of drive-through pickup, home delivery, and curbside delivery for merchandise. 2, working remotely from home. 3, operations necessary to maintain security, payroll, upkeep, and maintenance of premise equipment or inventory, including but not limited to the care and maintenance of livestock and car animals. 4, IT or other operations that facilitate employees working remotely from home. 5, facilitate online or calling sales performed by employees in a store or facility closed to the public. 6, in-store repair services performed by the employee in a store or facility closed to the public. Public parks, park amenities such as playgrounds, basketball courts, tennis courts, baseball fields, athletic fields for group sports, skate parks, group pavilions, and any area of the public park areas either entirely or partially enclosed and designed to concentrate people participating in an activity to one specific defined area or by their inherent nature do not allow for social distancing are hereby closed. The remaining areas of the public park, including walking trails, bike paths, and other open areas are open to the public and may be used by the public so long as patrons follow federal and CDC guidelines, including ensuring that social distancing of 6 feet is maintained. All golf courses located within Hill County remain open so long as individuals either walk the course or ride in a golf cart without any riding companion, and so long as patrons follow federal and CDC guidelines, ensuring that social distancing of 6 foot is maintained. Additional requirements: the Plainview Health County Health Department may require additional sanitation, signage, and social distancing practices for any business which remains open. Two, for any workplace that remains open, management of the business should facilitate and encourage practicing social distancing and good hygiene, and where feasible, require employees to work from home in order to achieve optimal isolation from COVID-19. And three, the county judge may update the restrictions set out in this order as necessary to respond to the evolving circumstances of this outbreak during the duration of the county judge's declaration of local disaster issued on March 19, 2020, and extended by the Hill County Commissioners Court. Four, that pursuant to 418.108 Section C of Texas Government Code, this order shall be given prompt and generally publicity and shall be filed promptly with the county clerk. Five, that pursuant to 418-173 of Texas Government Code, any person who knowingly or intentionally violates this order commits an offense punishable by a fine up to $1,000 or confinement in jail for a term not to exceed 180 days. Six, that this order shall go into effect at 11:59 Tuesday, March 31st, 2020, and continue until 11:59 p.m. Monday, April 6, 2020, unless renewed, extended, amended, or canceled by the county judge or the Hill County Commissioners Court. This order is the 31st day, March 2020. All right, and then the first two pages, we have resolution ratifying and continuing county judge's declaration of local disaster. County judge's order number 1, whereas the novel coronavirus, COVID-19, has been recognized as a pandemic by the World Health Organization and is a contagious respiratory virus. And whereas the governor of the state of Texas, Greg Abbott, issued a statewide disaster proclamation on November 13, 2020, certifying that COVID-19 poses an imminent threat of disaster to all counties in the state of Texas. Whereas COVID-19 continues to spread and pose an imminent threat of widespread severe illness, injury, or loss of life, requiring emergency action, and represents a public health disaster according to the Texas Department of State Health Services. And whereas Hill County, Texas has taken numerous steps to prepare for COVID-19, such as coordinating preparedness efforts with local municipal government officials and local health authority to promote appropriate prevention and mitigation efforts. And whereas the governor of the state of Texas on March 19, 2020 issued Executive Order GA-08, placing restrictions on social gatherings, visitation to local food and retail establishments where individuals in large numbers gather. And whereas Executive Order GA-08 also places additional restrictions on visitation to nursing homes, retirement centers, and long-term care facilities, as well as temporary closing of schools. And whereas on March 19, 2020, pursuant to the authority provided him by the Texas Government Code 418.108, the county judge of Hill County issued a declaration of local disaster, placing certain restrictions and procedures in place in order to protect and preserve the public health, safety, and welfare, and consistent with national and state declarations of emergency. And whereas on March 23, 2020, the Hill County Commissioners Court approved resolution R20-0323, extending the county judge's declaration of local disaster, and further authorizing the county judge to use all available resources to enforce the declaration. And whereas it is critical for Hill County to take additional steps to prepare to respond to and mitigate the spread of COVID-19 to protect the health and welfare of the citizens of Hill County and the surrounding area. And whereas the President of the United States and the United States Center of Disease Control and Prevention on March 16, 2020 issued COVID-19 guidelines for Americans, calling upon Americans to slow the spread of COVID-19 by avoiding social gatherings in groups of more than 10 people, using drive-through pickup or delivery options at restaurants and bars, and avoiding visitation at nursing homes or understaffed And whereas on March 31st, 2020, pursuant to the Texas Government Code 418.108, in accordance with the authority granted to the county judge by the Commissioners Court, Resolution R20-0323, the county judge rendered the declaration of local disaster, county judge's order number 1, to protect and preserve the public welfare. Be it therefore resolved by the Commissioners Court of Hill County, Texas, that 1, the county judge's declaration of local disaster, county judge's order number 1, dated March 31st, 2020, is hereby ratified and continued in full force and effect as presented on March 31st, 2020. Copy of the declaration of local disaster, county judge's order number 1 is attached to this resolution as Exhibit A and is incorporated by reference. 2, all prior orders concerning the local state of disaster as rendered on March 23rd, 2020 in the Hill County Commissioner's resolution of the R20-0323 shall remain in full force and effect to the extent that they do not conflict with Exhibit A. 3, the county judge is authorized to make any orders necessary and to utilize any county resources necessary to address the local state of disaster, and those orders may remain in effect more than 7 days without the Commissioner's court action on them. And 4, this court will review the local state disaster and existing restrictions at its regularly scheduled meeting on May 11, 2020, unless the court calls a special meeting before that time. And it says passed and approved at the special meeting Hill County Commissioners Court on April 2020 upon the motions. And so, after hearing the resolution and then the exhibit A, which was the declaration, is there any discussion?
Discussion I have with that is, this stay-at-home order expires July 11th.
Unless y'all decide to ratify it or continue with the discussion.
I don't know about the others, but I'd like to go ahead and extend it to the second.
Okay. Now, if you ratify it, then it will actually be in effect until May 11th. Unless we call a special court, you know, if the situation would improve and things would lift, we could always have a special meeting and rescind it.
If you could vote, I mean, y'all can decide if you want to change that to, instead of April 13th, regular meeting. So,
Let's say it's easier to extend it to May 11th. And have it as a done deal, and then if certain things change, we can come back and have a special call meeting. And lessen it, that way, I just think it'd be better if we extended it out, that way we just work with the situation. And we will run it.
the other thing is, the judge could always go in and if there's indication that the black some of the state, the judge could go in and another order. Take some of those restrictions off. So that's something like that.
I don't think it was a system, but it's like home. Do you want to?
Well, I think we need to extend it to May 11th. We know from what we're hearing that on the reports in the next 2 weeks are going to be the worst for sure, so we just have to look. If it improves after that, we'll extend it.
I can assure y'all that as soon as we're able to, and hopefully that'll be real soon, that we'll be able to rescind some of these restrictions or do away with them. We would certainly do that if that was first before May 11th.
I agree. I would just stay with the way it's written, May 11th. And if we need any adjustments one way or the other, we can always call a special meeting or emergency meeting or whatever. But I think we need to be as cautious as we can.
and the board, just with the 8 years of assessments that we go for.
Okay. So do I hear a motion that we extend this until May 11th and it is read, written?
I'd make that motion.
Have a motion by Commissioner Canal, do I hear a second? Second by Commissioner Kelly. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? And then we have one more item, that was placed on today's agenda, and I'll call the sheriff up to, discuss this matter involved. David, you might just explain to them about the visitation at the jail, or the lack of visitation at the jail.
Visitation has been shut off on March. So no families are getting, come up to visit, yada, 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 everything shut down. It's done by phone. I'm learning that some of our inmates, due to the COVID, the families are not getting out and putting their money in their commissary account to buy the phone cards. Securus, who is our phone supplier, has reached out and offered to give each inmate 2 free phone calls a week at a cost to us of 0.25, which is very minimal per phone call. Nothing changes, the phone call will be the same limit and everything, they're just trying to help us out a little bit. I'd like to get permission from y'all to visit with them and enact this. We can either pay for it out of the commissary fund or we'll take it out of our commission. And this will go until April the 30th. Just to give them dates. I'll take the call home, so I get the money and everything. Thank y'all.
Okay, hearing the sheriff, David, do you have any idea, just maybe a guesstimate of what the total expense would be?
I don't, 0.25, we sell 10, 15 dollar phone cards, the phone calls are usually 10 minutes, so I listened to him the other day, he said he's gonna need $700 tops.
Several $100. Do I hear any motions regarding the, or is there any other questions for the sheriff about the situation?
And this will be for all inmates, or just with this particular?
For all inmates.
For all inmates.
For all inmates.
How many you got out there now?
We're right at 87, I think.
Understand that, Jim?
It's been kind of steady for the whole month of May. We're running in the mid-80s all month. We are still actively taking in inmates, scrutinizing each case as it comes through and everything. The governor's office has shut down a lot of the PR bonds and stuff like that. So what we're doing is scrutinizing. The PD has been great, DPS has been great on, if it's a case that can have a report written, warrant issued later or something, if it's a non-violent crime, then that's what we're doing. They're helping us out a whole bunch.
Any other questions or comments?
Well, I just would like to note that due to the circumstances and the limited communication, I feel like it's very necessary to allow them to have these phone calls, and it will be a minimal expense, and through April the 30th, you
Yes,
said.
sir.
Now, this
Like
will
I
be,
say, we can pay for this out of our commissary fund and those expenses to the county.
this will be everybody, even the ones we're holding for the county.
It'll be everybody in jail. Yes, sir.
Okay. So we put that in form.
I would put it in form of motion to allow the sheriff to do it.
Okay. Have a motion that we allow these phone calls with this limited charge from Securus. that would provide each inmate in the Hunt County Jail 2 phone calls per week.
Pay out commissary.
And if you want to pay for it out of the commissary, or if you want to have it taken out of my check that we received from security.
We're going to the way, you know, put the report, and then you can take it out of commissary, and give it to the deal. Whichever one is doing this
So we'll basically allow the phone calls to occur until April 30th, and at that point, we'll receive that invoice and we'll determine how we're going to pay for it. So I have a motion, do I hear a second? Second by Commissioner Martinez. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed? All right, well, thank y'all for being here. Yes, sir.
Said back on this resolution, where it says that we passed and approved at the special call meeting on April, it just said, it doesn't have a date that we passed it on. It said April 2020.
I'll bring that later.
Put
I
the
saw
date.
another typo I need to bring, because I hate to put that on camera.
I thought it was something perfect. When he raised his hand, I thought, I was afraid he was going to ask me to reread it. Sorry, Jim. Is there any other business or discussion? If not, then we'll stand adjourned at 9:49 a.m. Thank y'all for being here. Thank you.
Well, the security guard.
We all-
They're on this.